Hey, so it's currently Wednesday, the middle of the freaking week. I love Wednesdays, because it's not Thursday. I'm not looking forward towards the end of the week. It's the middle of the week. Have you ever liked Wednesdays? Like I feel like I've always been like a Friday person. Well, that's an awkward way of starting this video. I'm sorry, but that's like the first thing that came to my mind. And before I talk about what I'm gonna discuss in this video, I just want to say how annoying it is every time when I'm trying to record a video. You might think it's simple, right? I'm just like sitting down in my rocking chair speaking to you like a one-on-one conversation. Well, you see here, I have OCD. So whenever I notice that there's a certain placement that's incorrect or a different way I placed an object, like if I have my something over here, I would just get super annoyed and I have to constantly, it's just a lot of frustration because, for example, every day before I go to bed, I'll have to place down my film in the exact same spot. And I have to do things a certain way, turn off the lights a certain way. I don't know why that frustrates me so much, but it really irritates me. Like for me, I feel like it's almost like unhealthy because it's really making me like frustrated. But yeah, today there's a lot I want to share with you. I know that a lot of you also want to hear about my personal life. I know some of you watch my videos to hear me rant about Gen Z, Gen Z, how messed up today's society and our lives are. Some of you clicked on my videos or are a fan of my videos because you like how honest I am sharing my struggles in my personal life. And this video is going to be basically that, because I noticed I've been ranting too much about Generation Z and life and society in general. I've been talking a lot about philosophical terms like meritocracy, and I just want to go back to my roots and just share you about my future plans and what I think about my life so far and my goals for the future, because I'm sure a lot of you are curious about what my future plans are. And I know I hinted on it plenty of times in the past, but today is going to be a bit different. I do want to share something that I'll learn about myself as well and what I really think I'm about to head into. And it's very scary stuff because I always hated thinking about my future because it just seems very grim if you look at it from a realistic perspective, right? Like, I currently reside in Canada. The job market is horrible. I heard that over like 400 immigrants came to Canada in the first quarter of this year, first 4 months, which is baffling. And it's just unfortunate how hard it is to just make a living in Canada. And my previous video where I talked about simple living and how I just wanted to live in a minimalist lifestyle, right? Like not having to worry about changing to a completely different clothes every single day. I'm completely fine wearing the same dang, shirt every day, as long as, I'm getting my basic hygiene right. Like obviously I still shower, brush my teeth, but really what I'm trying to say is I just want to find a way to sustain myself. Like I'm not expecting to raise entire family, not expecting to have like 2 or 3 kids and a wife. I just want to live comfortably by myself because ultimately that's what I really want. So I've been thinking, and for the very long time I wanted to go back to school, and this is what's going to foreshadow what I'm going to be telling you. I know in a lot of my previous videos I hinted that I'm planning on going back to school, but I never really specified like the entire scope of it. I just brought it up briefly. So school itself has always been something I've despised. Even back in high school, I never really enjoyed this lifestyle of a student. You go to classes, you show up at 8 a.m., you're forced to listen to boring lectures for 3 hours, and then lunch break, go to more classes, and then I go straight home. That's pretty much my lifestyle back in high school. I was quite isolated from a lot of extracurricular activities. I didn't really join clubs or do any sports, which I sort of regret because I didn't really take networking seriously, and I realized how important networking is in the adult world, where your next reference could well be your gateway to your new job. And it's unfortunate how so many jobs nowadays rely on references and networking just for you to have a chance. Cold calling through just blindly submitting hundreds of resumes on Indeed isn't exactly going to help. And that's actually one part of reasons why I do want to go back to school. More specifically, community college, which usually offers around 2-year associate degree programs or diplomas. And I did go to college back in the day. Well, it's actually not that long ago, but I briefly discussed how I got a design diploma at a technical college around during the pandemic, right? Around 2020. And after the fallout of the pandemic, I managed to get a job, worked there for around a year, but eventually I was laid off. And now the job market is horrible. AI is taking over pretty much design jobs, and for me, it's particularly hard because there's a massive gap in my job, like resume, and it's just unfortunate. And a lot of companies want real world experience, unfortunately, as well as education as well. Like a diploma in design is not going to really give me the right amount of opportunities. And I thought long and hard about this. I decided to just give up on like graphic design, UI, UX design, even though I know some people are able to actually still get design jobs. It's just that I just feel like I lag too far behind. It's it's unfortunate. I feel like in today's age, in our current time in 2025, you kind of need to get a job in the essential industry like trades, construction, healthcare, and there's a lot more benefits. A lot of these jobs are funded by the government. You can also join union, you get higher pay from it. Even right now, I'm a factory worker. I should probably be joining a labor union, which a lot of people recommended me because I know I can at least increase my pay by $2. Currently, I only make $20 an hour working in a dang factory, which I discuss a lot of times. I'm pretty much 26 years old, and a lot of times I feel like I'm just too old to go to school. I know that sounds ridiculous. I know there are plenty of people in their 30s or 50s in school, but hear me out, okay? I just feel like my memory nowadays has been so bad. I have really short attention span, and I get brain fog a lot. Like, I can't memorize even lyrics of a song. That's why I never bothered singing, just because I can never remember the full lyrics of a song, even if I listen to it 1,000 times, which I have done. It's just something I'm not good at. I know brain is a muscle as well. You need to train it, but the issue is that every day I work in a manual labor job in a factory, sometimes overtime for up to 12 hours a day. And my brain's a muscle, right? The more I use it, the more tired it gets. So by the time I get home, I just want to take a nap, just want to eat something, and my guilty pleasures kick in, right? I do dumb crap. I watch YouTube videos for hours on end. I end up doing nothing productive just because of feeling burnout. And I'm sure some of you also experience that in your life. Rather, it could also be in school, right? You probably don't want to do something that's super brain intensive when you get home. You want to just chill, listen to music, maybe do something that's doesn't require much of your brain. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, it feels like I don't really have much time to really plan my life when my entire life right now is pretty much go to work, get home, eat, watch YouTube, and sleep. It's a really sad lifestyle. And I know I could do better, but it's quite demoralizing when the world around you just suddenly feels like it's not really getting better as well. Like my external sources are also not really doing well too. So you might be asking me, why am I going back to community college for maybe even up towards 8 years? I was thinking of maybe even getting a master's degree because apparently a lot of companies want master's degrees nowadays for many industries and jobs. Just because the expectations and people are more people are actually have access to education nowadays than like in the past. And it seems like everyone nowadays has like a bachelor's degree, like that's pretty much a baseline requirement. And I thought about going to college for like business administration. I plan on this route for many reasons. First of all, because I could major in accounting, marketing, or even work in government in the public administration. So pretty much business administrating in government jobs, which does have nice benefits like pension and retirement, like RRSP, but I don't really care too much about that. I just want a consistent job that's not too manual labor intensive, right? Like, I don't want to be working with my dang hands. I want to work with my brain. And it just unfortunate how I didn't really take my life seriously until like just early this year when I started making YouTube videos. And I just want to thank again for all of you who watch my videos every day. You really help me to strive to do better. You might not physically see it in me, but trust me, mentally, I do feel like I'm learning a lot more about myself. I'm more attentive and realizing my emotions and why I feel them. And I think it's important for my self growth. So I do think I'm more mature now. And regarding college, I really want to go to college for maybe even 6 to 8 years just because I want to network. I want to make friends. I want to just get to know the outside world a bit more because I've been just cooped up in my house for many years now and just unhealthy way of living life. I feel like I've just been trapped inside a cave, and in a way it's a good thing, right? My brain's not muddled with thoughts from the ordinary folks and society. I'm not really influenced by societal norms. That's probably why you might see me as someone who's quite unconventional. And a lot of you probably already know, and you also might be neurodivergent. If you don't know what neurodivergent is, it's pretty much someone who just act and think in a way that's unconventional to someone else. Like they would tend to overthink. They might have existing disorders like OCD, ADHD, right? I feel like I'm someone who is socially awkward. I'm neurodivergent. I have a lot of issues with my life. And I think it's important to be aware of it so I can minimize the damage it does to me. And I think that just talking to you in front of me right now is just really helping. And I can't really thank you all enough for just listening to me. And I know this is not my typical video where I talk about deep topics in philosophy and society. This is more about my life. You might not find it entertaining or as engaging as the other ones, but I don't really care too much about like super trendy topics like Gen Z anymore. I want to just express more and share more about my personal life because it's great that I'm able to get across a wider audience when I talk about real world issues, right? Societal problems. But sometimes I just want to share you more about myself so you get to know me more as a person. And a lot of times I forgot to even like talk about myself because I get so focused on the bigger picture, focus on society as a whole, right? So hopefully college would be a great learning experience for me. The only issue with it is that currently I'm a factory worker working pretty much 5 days a week, working 8 to 10 hours a day. So if I go to college, it has to be part time. And I don't know if I can even survive with 3 or 4 courses. Like, let's say a course is 3 hours long, right? So, like, 4 courses would be like 16 hours. So, 16 hours of classes on top of probably 3 to 5 hours studying time per class. That's gonna be like super hard to balance. Whereas an 8 hour full time shift in the factory, especially when I get home, I'm gonna be super burnt out. So I actually really need your advice on this. I don't know how to balance it. I really need to get it to work because I cannot function and live with a part-time job. So that's without question. So my only option right now is having a full-time job. Maybe I need to change jobs to maybe one that's minimum wage, like even less than I make now, like working at a grocery store, like a retail. I don't know. It's just unfortunate how it's so hard. I kind of wish I went to school earlier and got my crap together earlier, but here we are. And it just unfortunate how this is reality, right? Like, I'm not some anime protagonist or like some superhero. I can't make things magically happen. I have to deal with the consequences that I've caused in the past. And yeah, hopefully college goes well. And some of you might be asking me if I'm making money on YouTube or maybe I could do this on the side, right, while going to school. Well, that would be a great idea if I actually even made a lot of money. To be frank, I only made like $100 total. I know for you that's quite a bit, but for me that's not enough. I make pretty much $160 a day because 20 hours an hour, right? That's my job. 8 hours, right? So that's like around $160. So I make literally more a day than entire month on YouTube. So YouTube is not really sustainable. I mean, I really appreciate all of you who also donated as well as joined my channel as a member. I think it was one person, and forgot to give you a shout out. I'll have to remember your name for next time. But yeah, that's pretty much my life right now. I really need to focus on myself. And I know a lot of you watching me probably watch me because you can resonate with me in some sense. But sorry to disappoint a lot of you as well. I know I should be working much harder, but really, I just really want to do things that I enjoy. And I don't want to force myself to do something just because it's gonna like benefit me in the short run, right? Like, I want to think more long term nowadays. And yeah, that's basically it for this video. I'm sorry if I didn't talk like about things you guys probably didn't want to hear, well, you guys want to hear, but I just want to get this off my chest. It's been a rough year for me, and hopefully things will get better. And I hope if your life is also like not great, hopefully your life gets better. I know plenty of people in my Discord server are trying to find a girlfriend. Don't worry. I think y'all should focus on yourself first. Focus on self-love. And just remember, if you can't take care of your own problems, how can you solve and help and care for someone else's problems, right? And we just need to focus on ourselves. We shouldn't jump into relationships just because we feel lonely. That's a bit of a not healthy way of approaching to relationships. So thank you for understanding, and yeah, that's basically it for this video. See ya.